Welcome back to another edition of Against the Grain Sports. Hey, listen, man, we got a lot accomplished in the last few shows, but this show we kind of want to switch gears and take it to the NFL mock draft, and we want to give you Against the Grain Sports mock draft. We're gonna just jump right into it. Jody, we got the 2021-2022 NFL draft coming up.
Yeah, and it's a lot of exciting players. The last 5 or 6 drafts have been loaded. The NFL teams, you look at any rosters that won championship or been making playoff runs, it's been a lot of players that has been drafted in the first round and really made immediate impact. Before we get started, hey guys, I want y'all to like, subscribe to the page. I want y'all to also leave comments. Tell me, your favorite team is going to be announced on here. Tell me if we got it right. Do you think we got it right? Hey, everything is all good. We love the conversation. We'll definitely get back with them. And
we will also give us your mock drafts in the comments.
Please,
go to Against the Grain Sports on YouTube. Hit that like and subscribe button. Leave a comment. Let us know who your favorite team is and who your favorite players are.
Hey, let's go ahead and jump right into it.
Let's jump right into it.
All right, you know, the number one pick is the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Okay.
And it's kind of like a hands-down pick for Trevor Lawrence. The quarterback from Clemson, only 2 losses in his career. National championship, actually beat the Alabama Crimson Tide. That kid has been amazing from his freshman year on. I think he'll have a sensational NFL career. He's one of those quarterbacks that you think of coming out of college, like an Andrew Luck, like a Peyton Manning. He doesn't seem like he has any problems throwing the ball down the field or making any throw.
Okay.
So Jacksonville Jaguars will have the first pick, and they will get Trevor Lawrence. Now this is where it gets a little dicey.
Okay.
Pick 2 is the New York Jets. I'm not sold on getting rid of Sam Darnold and getting a quarterback in New York. So I'm going to go ahead and go with Devontae Smith, the Heisman Trophy winner, wide receiver from Alabama. He's a dynamic wide receiver. He reminds you a lot of Marvin Harrison. How can you get rid of a Sam Darnold when you don't put any weapons around him? I think this would be the first weapon. Sam Darnold's only 23. Devontae Smith, as you can see what he did in the national championship game, have you seen all throughout his year, his Heisman year? Definitely Devontae Smith at pick 2. Pick 3. Miami Dolphins, they got this pick from the Houston Texans. And when you have a quarterback like Tua Tagovailoa, you have to protect him. So it's a kid that sat out this year from Oregon, offensive lineman, Sorwell. He sat out this year, he opted out this year, but I think you want to protect. They got 2 offensive linemen in the draft. Now you throw a third piece, and you got a good offensive line. When you're looking at a team that wants to be a playoff caliber team, you got to get the bones of a team, and that's offense and defensive line, and he'll be a great pick at 3. Now 4, the Atlanta Falcons. I'm not sold on any quarterback in this draft being better than Matt Ryan. So I'm going to go a little different than all these other guys in their mock drafts. I'm going to go with the linebacker, Michael Pearson, the linebacker from the Penn State Nittany Lions. He sat out this year as well. He opted out. The guy can be a cornerstone because Atlanta, I don't think they have a problem scoring. They have a problem stopping people from scoring. And I think that he will be a great fit in Atlanta. Number 5, your team, the Cincinnati Bengals.
Let's get somebody good, Bengals.
Listen,
Who they?
Listen, y'all got an outstanding quarterback in Joe Burrows, but guess what? He got hit more than any quarterback in the league, and then it turned into him having a season-ending injury. He said he'll be ready for the start of this season, but how do you keep a quarterback that potentially can be there 10 to 12 years? You got to keep him upright. So I see y'all, the Cincinnati Bengals, getting Rashad Slater, offensive lineman from Northwestern. The kid can play all 3 positions. He can play the center, the guard, and the tackle. Y'all need versatility on the offensive line. Cincinnati Bengals, if y'all know, please leave a comment and let me know if I got that one right. Number 6. The Philadelphia Eagles. Philadelphia Eagles just 3 years ago was in the Super Bowl.
They were.
But guess why they can't get back? They don't have enough dynamic playmakers on the outside, wide receivers. They had a lot of injury. Alshon Jeffries is pretty much done in Philly. Deshaun Jackson is pretty much done in Philly. I got these guys picking Jamar Chase, the wide receiver from LSU, who also opted out this season. But the year that he had in LSU when they won the national championship, he was the most dynamic wide receiver in the game. Philly, that will get y'all back to where y'all need to be, regardless who the quarterback is in Philly.
You got a lot of guys who didn't play that's getting drafted high in this draft. That's kind of amazing. It's just amazing what COVID has done for, football, basketball, and a lot of sports, period.
I'm kind of glad you brought that up. And the reason why I say this gives these guys an opportunity to train with personal trainers. This gives these guys an opportunity to be healthy.
Right.
And that's a great benefit for any NFL team, because a lot of guys that come in got little nicks in that. But these guys sat out a whole season, got strength and conditioning training. I don't think they lost anything. I think they actually come in and be better for an organization. Let's go with 7. The Detroit Lions, who made a major splash and changing quarterbacks.
They did.
But one thing, they got a good cornerback from Ohio State, Okur, last year. So what do? You put another cornerback on the other side. So you're in the passing league, and you're in the same division with Kirk Cousins and Aaron Rodgers. You need somebody that can stop that, right?
Right.
Why not go with Patrick Surtain, the second, his cornerback, Alabama, best cornerback in his draft. I believe he can blanket. He reminds a lot of his dad playing for the Miami Dolphins, where he can cover. He's the most well-rounded cornerback, maybe the most well-rounded defensive player coming into this particular draft. We got number 8. We got the Carolina Panthers. Carolina Panthers, we don't really know what they are.
We don't. I mean, it seems like ever since they got rid of Cam Newton, you really haven't heard a lot about them.
Because you really don't know what they have. They got Christian McCaffrey, who went through injuries. You don't know Julius Peppers went out a few years ago. You don't have Steve Smith, so you don't have none of those core guys anymore.
You don't have a face of the franchise.
You don't.
So is that
well,
what
I think Christian
is that
McCaffrey,
what we get into in this draft? Are we
I,
drafting a face of the franchise?
I don't necessarily think they're going to face of the franchise, but they're also getting somebody that's going to move the needle, that's going to move the first down chains, and also score in the red zone, something that they struggle with. So I'm going to go with the tight end, Kyle Pitts from the Florida Gators. This kid is very versatile. He won the Mackey Award for the best tight end in the country. I think he comes in and be Teddy Bridgewater's best friend, getting the ball, moving those chains. Okay. That's what's important. Let's go with 9. A lot of guys, this team has been down a few years, the Denver Broncos. Denver Broncos have been down the last few years, so we need a rejuvenation defensively, something that they really hung their hat on. Even when they had Peyton Manning, when they won the Super Bowl is when they had a great defense.
Right.
So I'm going to go with number 9, defensive tackle, Christian Barmore from the Alabama Crimson Tide. I know I've named a lot of Alabama Crimson Tide players, but they just won a national championship, and it's a reason why.
Right.
And when you have the most 5-star recruits the last 15 years, you're going to get a lot of high draft picks. Number 10, this is the Dallas Cowboys. I mean,
they need to draft an owner.
Hey man,
are there any owners in the draft?
The thing about it is the Dallas Cowboys never lack talent. They never lack talent. But they lack leadership, like you said, with the owner, the GM. Get those yes men out of there and get a real coach. But what we're going to do is one thing that when Dallas was a great team, they had great offensive lines.
They did. Now
a lot of guys retire. A lot of guys can't perform at that level. So why not go and get Elijah Vera Tucker from USC? This guy could be a big cornerstone offensive lineman. Hey, offensive linemen are going to be very key in this draft because there's a lot of good ones.
Yeah, you got a lot of linemen in this, in this top 10. Well, so far up in the top 10, you got a lot of linemen.
Because if you look at every team that's gone to the playoffs, look at what happened to the Kansas City Chiefs when they could not protect Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
Because their 2 top tackles were out with injuries.
By the way, against the Grain Sports, I predicted it.
They did.
I told you guys that they wasn't going to score like that. I even gave them points. 41, 27. They didn't even crack a double digits.
And that's he did. I give him credit because he's more of a basketball guy, more of a football guy. He actually predicted that, and that's why I love Against the Grain Sports. But let's continue. The number 11 pick, the New York Giants. We haven't talked about New York in a long time.
We haven't talked about the Giants
because they haven't had. What are we talking about there? Saquon Barkley is injury prone. I don't know if Daniel Jones is the guy.
Do they need to call Eli?
Hey, listen.
Do they need to pick the phone up?
They might need to, because when y'all had Eli, at least y'all had a potential of winning Super Bowl, which he won too.
He did.
But I think in this draft, y'all need a playmaker on the outside, maybe to help out Daniel Jones. And I'm going to go with Jalen Waddle. Jalen Waddle, wide receiver, Alabama. He came off an injury, and he's still probably the fastest receiver in this draft. He may be the most well-rounded, coming off that broken leg. If he gets healthy, great addition. Great addition.
That last name sounds familiar. Waddle.
It was a guy who played for the Bears a long time ago named Tom Waddle.
Okay.
But he was definitely not as fast as this guy.
Okay.
We're going to go with number 12. A lot of people like the San Francisco 49ers. Number 12, I'm going to go with Justin Fields, quarterback, Ohio State, second quarterback off the board.
He's dropping to 12?
Yeah, I just think that guys that's ahead of him don't really need quarterbacks. And I think Justin Fields can be a good quarterback, but I still think he's raw. I think he'll benefit going to a 49er team who has a great offensive line. He doesn't have to throw the ball all the time. I think he can work on his mechanics, and then once he get in year 3, 4, he can be that star quarterback that he's being drafted to be. But I think he'll be a great fit with those young wide receivers in San Francisco and that great defense. Number 13, the Los Angeles Chargers. I mean, I don't really know.
What are they doing?
I don't know.
Why did you sign Gurley to this big contract? And then
No, he went to the Falcons. I'm talking.
I know, but this was a couple years ago. They signed. They had Gurley, right?
No, Gurley was with the Rams.
The Rams. I'm sorry, they switched states.
Yeah, they know, but he was with the Rams. But I remember you saying LA. But my thing is with the Chargers, you have a franchise quarterback now, Justin Herbert. Got to steal with him because I think he might have. I thought last year he should have been the second quarterback off the board, not the third. But that's no here nor there. But I got the Chargers going with Caleb Farley, cornerback, Tech, because they couldn't stop anybody. And if you want to lead with Derek Carr and Patrick Mahomes in that same division, and you plan on trying to win, you got to be able to cover somebody.
Got to be able to cover.
And this is the second cornerback off the board, and I think he's a very athletic cornerback. He's gonna be able to cover. They can run a lot of. They can start blitzing again and start getting pressure on the quarterback, and that always makes the team look better when they can blitz and they got guys on the island that can cover one-on-one. Number 14, the Minnesota Vikings.
They still playing football?
I was wondering the same thing. I mean,
to be honest, I'm sorry. I haven't seen a highlight. I haven't heard anything about the Vikings. I didn't even know if they. I thought they was all on quarantine.
But the thing about it with the Against the Grain Sport, we're gonna talk about everybody, so we have to talk about the Vikings.
Right.
They're one of the teams that's loaded talent wise as well, that just can't get out of their own way. So I got the Minnesota Vikings picking Jalen Phillips, defensive end, the University of Miami.
Okay.
He's a very athletic DN. They lost a lot of edge rushers. I think he's one of the better edge rushers in his draft, and you can't go wrong with an edge rusher.
Right.
Let's go with number 15. This is what a lot of guys want to know about. A lot of girls they want to know about because they're New England Patriot fans. There's no more Tom Brady. I know y'all a little sick right now. Tom is celebrating. Y'all at home. Y'all need to make the playoffs. So this pick might intrigue you guys. The third quarterback off the board, Zach Wilson, BYU.
Wilson.
They're very big on Zach Wilson. Some people got him going second. I don't believe he should be the second pick. He's still very raw. Didn't play against great competition in BYU. I think if he goes to a system with Bill Belichick, I truly believe that he has an opportunity to take them back to where they need to be.
Right.
Under Bill Belichick. Let's move on. The Arizona Cardinals at number 16. I got those guys picking J.C. Horn, cornerback, South Carolina.
Okay.
He's another versatile cornerback. Arizona doesn't have problems putting points on the board, but once again, they have problems in the second tier, the secondary. They may be losing Patrick Peterson, the longtime Arizona Cardinal. He may be parting ways at defensive back, and you have to replace that.
Okay.
I'm not saying that he's as good as Patrick Peterson, but you got to start building at some point because we know with Kyler Murray, y'all going to score points.
Mm-hmm.
Number 17, the Las Vegas Raiders. They have to get pressure on the quarterback, and the best way to do it is getting Gregory Rousseau from the University of Miami. This kid is another. That's two edge rushers from the University of Miami going in your top 20. I think he helps them out immediately.
But we know Gruden likes quarterbacks, so he might pick a quarterback.
But if he picks a quarterback, Gruden, if he wants to win games, he got to get pressure on the quarterback.
So Gruden and all you other GMs, if y'all want to win, y'all need to watch Against the Grain Sports.
Definitely.
I know you guys like to draft like the media hype players, and a lot of times every year you guys make the wrong picks.
Yeah.
Watch Against the Grain Sports. Make the right picks and make your team better.
Hey, we study sports too. It's just not y'all. We don't need all that film. We can actually just watch some games and see who is actually good
And who's actually not.
Now dig this one. The Miami Dolphins, once again, they have another top pick. So now that you got the interior of your line together, you have a quarterback, let's go ahead and give him a weapon on the outside. Let's go with Terrence Mitchell Jr., LSU wide receiver, who had a phenomenal year. this year as well as the championship year. Give him a weapon on the outside, and you can get a steal. I think this is actually one of the steals of the draft.
Okay.
If they get him at 18 and they are able to get an offensive lineman at 3, I think that'll be amazing. Miami is really putting some things together, and I see big things. They went 11-5, 10-6 this year, so I really believe a lot of big things. And this is foundation. They're getting foundation things.
Right.
The Washington football team. Y'all got rid of Dwayne Haskins. I think
Y'all got rid of y'all mascot?
Yeah, I don't even know what y'all are. A football team. How do y'all shirt? Can somebody send me a football shirt? I don't know what that look like. I don't know what that look like. But on a realistic thing, y'all have a great defense. I think their defense can stop. I mean, Chase Young, rookie of the year from Ohio State. They got the interior that the D tackles, DNs, linebackers are playing amazing. The back end is decent enough. But y'all got to get a quarterback. And
Speaking of Ohio State, you've only named one Ohio State guy, man. Ohio State players perform, and we've only had one taken off the board so far. What's going on with Ohio State?
Well, stay tuned. Because
Okay.
I got more coming off
Okay.
the board. Yeah, but, I think Ohio State had a very young team. People have to realize Ohio State had a lot of sophomores and juniors.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of guys went back to school because this year didn't count against their eligibility, so they can come back and play
Right,
again. And I
right.
think Ohio State really wants another national championship. But I have the Washington football team getting a quarterback, and I got a unknown quarterback. Listen to this one. Trey Lance, quarterback, North Dakota State. Mark my word, guys. This guy's about 6'3", 220 pounds, can run the ball, can throw the ball. Hey, don't overlook this guy. Come back and watch the Instagram Sports. And remember what I said, Trey Lance. Remember that name.
Trey Lance.
Remember that name. Number 20. My brother is a big Chicago Bears fan. There's a lot of big Chicago Bears fans that watch the show. And they made the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not sure exactly what the identity of the Bears is. But one thing you can always go and be sure of is they need offensive line help. So I went ahead and got them grabbing offensive tackle Sam McConnell from Texas. He's a big bruiser. He can play the left or the right side. A lot of young guys, if they can't perform on the left side, they put him on the right side.
Mm-hmm.
Either way it goes, he's going to be probably a day one starter for the Chicago Bears. 21, I got another quarterback coming off the board, but it's coming to the Indianapolis Colts. At number 21, I got Mac Jones, the national championship quarterback from Alabama, going. And I potentially believe if they don't make a move, and I think they should make a move, I think you draft him, and I think he's the day one starter. I think Mac Jones is very underrated as a quarterback. He just won the national championship. Mm-hmm. I think if you give him an opportunity with that offensive line in Indianapolis, he can make some good things happen. And with Frank Wright at quarterback, as a head coach who was a former quarterback, he can do things like he did with Carson Wentz with him.
And we all know that Indianapolis is a team that they always draft great quarterbacks.
Yeah.
They always draft great.
And they haven't really missed a lot on quarterbacks.
They haven't.
Now, coming down to the home stretch, we got number 22, the Tennessee Titans. Tennessee Titans. Wow, they kind of got beat up by the Baltimore Ravens, and they didn't really have a lot of push up the middle. So I have those guys getting defensive tackle. Kelsey Payne from the University of Michigan. First Michigan player off the board, but I think he can come in. He can play multiple positions. He played a D tackle and a D end, and they definitely need help on that front line. They was one of the bottom tier sack teams. They didn't register a lot of sacks, and then if you look at the playoff, they got the ball ran down their throat.
Right.
23, the New York Jets. Once again, get Sam Darnold some weapons, and I give him another weapon, and Najee Harris, running back, Alabama. Kid is 6'2",
First running back off the board.
First running back off the board. I think he comes in. He's a day one starter. I love Frank Gore, but Frank Gore, about 59 years of age. I think you can go ahead and hang it up. I think you bring this young guy in who can catch the ball at the backfield, and he can also be a bruiser. He's an every down back. He can pick up the blitz. 24. Hey guys, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Y'all got whooped by my Browns, so y'all need some interior help. So guess what? If y'all gonna go with Ben Roethlisberger for one more year, why not protect him? Because he really took a beating this year.
Yeah.
And I see them once again getting Alex Leatherworth, offensive tackle, the University of Alabama. Big guy, big bruiser. I think you put him on that line, you can actually get back to being a physical style team and running the football, which they couldn't do last year.
Got a lot of linemen getting drafted.
Listen, that's because lineman, that's the move right now. Getting linemen is the move. And that's how you get to the next step. You look at every team, they can protect their quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Look what happened once again. Look what Kansas City couldn't protect the quarterback. Guess what? Tampa Bay, they could.
Right.
It's just as simple as that. Number 25, Here goes Jacksonville Jaguar getting another pick. Now, you can go anywhere with Jackson because they need everything. But this kid, Xavier Collins, linebacker from the University of Tulsa, remember that name as well. He's a very versatile, small college team, but he can come in there and make plays. They need all kind of help. So anybody you draft will be in addition to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Right. That's why they were the number 1 pick. Number 26, my Cleveland Browns.
What y'all gonna do?
What we gonna do? We gotta get a playmaking linebacker because I think every other position we got a great offense, great offensive line. We got a good defensive line, but we don't have that playmaker at linebacker that can cause. So I have my Browns picking Jeremy Oswald, linebacker, Notre Dame, playmaker. He's a playmaking linebacker. He can get sideline to sideline, come in. Hopefully he'll be a day 1 starter. We got to get guys that maybe can get some leadership on that defense so we can get to that next level and potentially go to the Super Bowl as well. Okay? Number 27, the Baltimore Ravens. I know a lot of people are like, well, Jody, why don't you go wide receiver? I don't think wide receiver is really the problem with those guys because Lamar Jackson is going to run the ball majority of the time anyway. So why get a receiver that you're going to have rot out there? Because they have receivers. They just got to. They do. They just got to. My thing is you got to get a passing concept. But defensively, Baltimore really got kind of exposed against the Buffalo Bills in the playoffs. Josh Allen threw the ball. When you have a team that come out and throws the ball out of 30 plays, 27 of them, they don't respect your secondary. So I have those guys picking the first safety off the board, Trayvon Moran, strong safety from TCU.
Getting back to defense.
Getting back to defense, that's the core of what the Ravens do. Number 28, this New Orleans Saints, I don't think Drew Brees is going to be there. I think they go Jameis Winston.
But even if he does come back, why not still draft a quarterback? I mean, he's not going to be there.
Well, I'm not going quarterback. I think Jameis Winston who's 26 years old. I think he learned the system. I think Sean Payton really likes him. Mm-hmm. So I'm going with some help. They got Michael Thomas. I'm going with Kadarius Toney, wide receiver, University of Florida, playmaker. He's one of those Percy Harvin kind of guys that can. Mm-hmm. He's very shifty, and great in the return game.
Okay.
Number 29, the Green Bay Packers. Remember I told you it's going to be another Ohio State boy off the board. And Green Bay, you got Aaron Rodgers. What's Aaron Rodgers' best friend? An offensive line. So we're going to go with Wyatt Davis, the Ohio State Buckeyes at guard. Why not give Aaron Rodgers an opportunity to get a little bit more time and get that next step into the Super Bowl? They keep getting clipped in the NFC Championship game. Evidently, I think Davis would be that one thing they need to get to the next level. Number 30, the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills ain't drafted this late in the draft in years.
Wow.
And I think with those guys they have pretty much everything. I think they're going to be set for the next season. But if you want to add any additional thing, let's go with defensive tackle, Carlos Bershon, Wake Forest University, just to get some interior. You can never go wrong on interior help with the offensive defense. Defensive tackle from Wake Forest. Number 31, the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't think they need too much of anything, but evidently
obviously they need something. They lost.
They'll get their 2 tackles back. I think if you play that game again with both of those tackles, I think it'll be a different score. But guess what? They're not playing it again.
They're not.
unless that's a repeat of the Super Bowl, which potentially could happen.
Good.
But guess what? This time they're going to have Javon Hollins, free safety, the University of Oregon.
Okay.
I think he can come out there and give them, because once again, Tom Brady kind of shredded them a little bit. Yeah, they didn't have enough. Tyrann Matthews could only do so much.
He could only do so much.
And then last but not least, the NFL champions, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they're going to go with a quarterback. Quarterback Kyle Trask from the University of Florida. You let him sit behind Brady for another year or two, and then you don't have to worry about drafting. He learns from, everybody say the best, but he learns from a good quarterback.
A guy with 7 rings.
Whatever, man. Four of them still cheated. But listen, you pick that guy, you let him sit behind Tom Brady, and then you let him marinate and learn the system, and I think you can throw him right in there. I think he has a big arm. He's a big kid, and he's very smart. And I think that, he's a guy that don't throw a lot of interceptions, which every coach loves. And I think you put him behind Tom Brady, let him learn, and then potentially he can be your starter.
Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. It's Against the Grain Sports. Jody has just given you his mock draft for the 21-22 NFL football season. Some of those names you just heard, if you don't know who they are, you can always look them up, look at their highlights, see how athletic they are, see what they bring to the table. And if you don't agree, like we said, go to the channel, like, subscribe, and put it in your comments and you know, let us know what you think or who you think they should draft. And, you know, we'll discuss it on the next show. It's Against the Grain Sports, sports our way.
Come and check us out.